Hi, everybody. Welcome to the 9th episode of the Indigo Women podcast. My name is Natalie, and I'm so excited that you're here. Today, we have a special guest. Her name is Cricket, and you may recognize her from, I believe, the 3rd episode where we did a ceremony together. And now she's back again because today is Lammas, which is one of the 8 sabbats during the year, or sabbats. You'll have to tell me how to pronounce that. I'm really, really excited that she's here today because I know that this is a really sacred day, and the energies of the earth and the moon are super potent today. And I'm actually going to be learning alongside you guys because this is a new one for me. I had actually never heard of Lammas before. I knew of some of the other sabbats, but I didn't know about Lammas. So Cricket's here today to share about this really cool holiday / sacred day of the year. And yeah, if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself, Cricket, and then feel free to just dive right in.
Hey, hi guys. Nice seeing you. Thanks for joining. And thanks, Nat. I love being on these with you. It's always a really good time to connect and explore together. So my name's Cricket. But what am I? I'm a lot of things. mostly, let's see. I'm a priestess of the goddess, and I'm an advocate for the return of the feminine Christ consciousness. That is probably like the biggest passion of my life. And so everything I do around that is based off of that. All of the work I do is based off of that. So I'm also a mentor. I'm a mesa carrier of the Pacocuna tradition, which is the medicine tradition of the Caro Indians of the high Andes of Peru and Bolivia. So I've been initiated into a medicine path called the Pacocuna tradition, which means nature mystic. So what I tell people that I do is that I help modern day human to reconnect, to remember their capabilities within the natural cycles of life, within the web of life, and their power and potential within the web of life. We are creators far beyond what we remember ourselves to be. And so again, that's what I advocate for is remembering. And saying that, and going back to the theme of the priestess, I help women to remember their truth, and I help that women to remember their power and their potency. And I love it. It is so exhilarating to activate what I can, what my soul is capable of activating in other souls. It's just so exhilarating to see my sisters come alive. I've been initiated onto the Venetian path, and I'm a carrier of the rose lineage, and it makes my heart throb. So today we're talking about Lammas, and so along the theme of nature mysticism and following the cycles of nature and the cycles of the seasons, we have the wheel of the year, which is a very pagan perspective of how to follow the seasons. And so August 1st and 2nd is traditionally Lammas, which is the first of 3 pagan festivals, harvest festivals. So we're essentially, Lammas is the celebration of the first harvest. It's the celebration of the wheat coming to ripeness. It's the day that the first bread is baked from the new harvest. Traditionally, I realize that many of us are no longer in farming mentality, but this is what our ancestors did. These are the patterns that our ancestors followed, and so it's also a day to honor the ancestors. As you bake your bread and as you go about your day, make offerings to them too, because their blood is in you, and their blood and their sweat is in the earth. And we're all part of that. And I did a ceremony for Lammas last night, and part of what came out of it was talking about the ancestors, is that we are their future. We are what they become, and they are alive in us, whether we acknowledge it or not. But as we acknowledge it, the more full our experiences can be, and the more clear our experiences can be. So I just want to say that the idea with Lammas now, since we are not really in the farming culture that we used to be, is that we're bringing the bread of our life. So like the first harvest of our life, of our efforts, to the table. And so today's a really good day to reflect on what you have been working on. Like, what seeds did you plant at Imbolg, at Ostara, at Beltane? What did you start to see opening up and flowering in the spring? Like the earth is coming back to life. And then now we're actually harvesting. And it's like, ooh, my skin gets tingly, because it's like really watching the cycle of maturity, and then being able to honor it and honor yourself for like building this.
This is so cool. And what I love is that you and I were together for Imbolg. We were in Colombia together. We celebrated it together, and we planted the seeds for Indigo Women during a ceremony together on that sacred day. And I didn't even realize this until you pointed it out, but we just finished the first beta round of the Awakened Indigo 3 days ago, where it was the ultimate harvest of this is what we created just in those 6 months of intention, and really getting to see our work come into fruition. And yesterday, I just reopened for the second beta round, and people are already flocking in. And it's like, holy cow, we planted these seeds exactly 6 months ago. And now here we are with that first harvest. It's so cool.
I love it. I just love it. And when I mentioned that to you yesterday, my heart was so big, and it's big now, because it's true. Like when we live in communion with our authentic self, our authentic offering, our magic, when we live in alignment with that, which Nat, I know you've worked really hard to cultivate in your life, and for the people around you too. That's what all of your work is based off of, is helping individuals to get more in tune with their authenticity and with their voice. And so you're a testament to that, the actual honoring and becoming the truth that you are. And so hence you plant seeds at Imbolg in February, and then it's spring, you like begin to see them blooming, and you've been working really hard on this project. And so now 6 months later, here we are, and you're like you said, people are just flocking to you, because what you've built and the seeds that you planted with extreme intention are ripe. It's like the blackberries are ripening. They're like almost at their peak right now. So it's like, just like, enjoy. Make blackberries.
Yes. And my partner and I, we go out into the mountains and we actually collect blackberries. So I love that you used that metaphor. But it's so true. And I just really appreciate this, because I do tend to be one of those people where I sort of have to be tapped on the shoulder and been told, like, hey, Nat, can you please look at what you've been able to create? And I do this for my clients all the time, where I'm like, hey, can you step back for a minute and give yourself credit for what you've already done? I know that you're future focused. I know that you're excited about the next big thing, but let's pause and let's look at how far you've already come. And so I just wanted to thank you for having me do the exact same thing, and also zoom out and go, Holy cow, this has been a crazy 6 months, hasn't it?
Mhm. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And that's one of my favorite things about working with you is that you continually remind me to be gentle with myself and also to just like reflect on how far I've come and like all the work that I've put in. And we're all at different stages and we're all at we all work at different paces, and what is valid for someone else may not be valid for me. What's valid for you may not be valid for me, so honoring my own validity, that is one of the big lessons that I've learned from working with you, is like the new ways that I can honor my own validity. And so yeah, I love that you're doing it too.
Thanks, lady. That's the beauty of collective creation, right? We're all just feeding off of each other, learning from each other, growing together. It's so beautiful. So I wanted to ask you specifically about your Lammas ceremony. How do you personally celebrate Lammas, or how did you celebrate it yesterday?
Okay, yeah, that would be great. So last night was full moon too. I don't know if anybody's witnessed it, but it was beautiful. It was golden orange and very harvesty. So it's wild to be again tracking the seasons and just to note, like, all of a sudden it's harvest moon. It's the first of the harvest moons, and it's actually looks like harvest moon. And then also that the last couple of mornings it started to have a chill in the air, like fall. So like suddenly now we're starting to recognize that the seasons are shifting. It's just another level of awareness as humans who are animals connected to the earth, who is our mother, and she is changing, she is shifting, she is preparing for her underworld journey. And so to bring awareness to that, of like what loose ends would need to be tied up before winter. Winter is a ways away. We don't have to like get nervous about it. It's just an awareness of like, what do I need to prepare for? Or like the seeds that I planted, and now I'm seeing the reaping, like I'm able to reap the what I sowed. In what ways am I really happy and excited about this? Like, what is really working? And then also, well, what would I like to be a little different? And so those are some things to kind of think about at this time, because, and what we were working around in our ceremony last night is because what you might want to tweak or be a little different, it's good to kind of have that in mind as you go into your slumber, your winter slumber, so that in spring you can plant these new seeds in in a way that is conductive to the changes you want to see, conducive to the changes you want to see. And so our Lammas ceremony last night. Okay, I also we were celebrating Pachamama's birthday as well, because Pachamama is the earth goddess herself. She is the great mother of creation. She is the earth, and she is also the cosmic mother. She is the formless, which becomes form for her children, for the benefit of creating, because she is the ultimate creatrix. And so so in the Andean tradition that I follow, uh the first 4 days of August are traditionally celebrated as Pachamama's birthday. So last night I was holding space for Lammas and for Pachamama's birthday. So we opened circle. It was all women. Most of them had not practiced pagan tradition before, so this was kind of new, but they had sat in circle before. So we did some exercises to get in tune with each other, some energetic exercises to get in tune with each other, and then a little bit of movement and talking about what I was asking about the seeds, that you had planted, and what are you seeing now? And then we made a despacho together. So a despacho is an offering. It's a bundle. It's a prayer bundle that we give to the nature spirits. that the Pakukunas build to give to the nature spirits. And so the prayer bundles, these despachos, can be they can be offerings for a wedding, for a birth. They can be offerings on behalf of a sick neighbor. They can be offerings at celebration times, which yesterday was a celebration time. Today is a celebration time. So yesterday's despacho was really geared towards the celebration of Earth and all of her bounty. And just like giving our little gifts as and all of it is organic. We make, it's just a piece of paper, and we use leaves, 3-leaf kintus. We blow the breath of our life into the 3-leaf kintu, because the breath, our life, is really all that we have. This is all that we have. So like when we exchange energetically with these little 3-leaf kintus, we're summoning up the whole of what we are in any state that we are in. That could be sad and depressed, that could be angry, that could be like the happiest that you've ever been, it could be in love, like whatever state you are in is your truth. And so you offer the breath of your life to your 3-leaf kintus. You place them on the despacho with flowers and oil and some corn, because corn is also sacred to the earth. And then after we've gone around and honored all of the directions and honored the Earth Mother and the sacred feminine meeting the sacred masculine and the unification, once we've gone around and honored all these qualities, then we fill the despacho with like yummy treats and tobacco and more things that the spirits would like, wine and perfumes and things that are organic, so that this despacho can then be placed in nature. So there are there are other ways, but really 3 main ways that you can offer, like give the despacho to the nature spirits. The main one is fire, because fire is a very fast transmuter of energy. So when you place the despacho in the fire, you're going to see like quick response. Hence, at Imbolg, we placed our despacho in the fire, and 6 months later, bam. And then another way is to bury it. So if you bury your despacho, whatever prayer you were praying, whatever you were speaking through your heart, it will definitely still come to fruition, but it's going to need to be digested by the earth first. So it's just a slower process of coming to maturity. And then the way that the women that I was working with last night decided they wanted their despacho dispersed was to put it in water. And so I'm going to take the despacho to the river later and give it to the quality of the mother that is water. And that feels really good in my heart.
This is so cool. I have to tell you, like when I started doing these ceremonies with you, it really was my first time practicing it with such intention. I've been aware of the pagan holidays for a really long time. I learned about them way back when, which is why I have the maiden on my arm, right? I got Bridget on my arm tattooed, because I just thought that these ceremonies and the connection to the earth was one of the most beautiful things I'd ever heard of. But it wasn't until I got in your energy that I actually started practicing these rituals. And the value of creating these rituals is something that I truly did not expect. I really didn't realize how psychologically and energetically beneficial it is to have these very intimate moments of intention that are reflected physically in the elements that you're working with when you're creating these offerings. So as a yoga teacher of 10 years, like I'm no stranger to intentional meditating or creating visuals or whatever, but there's never really like a physical thing that's happening. It's almost all happening in your mind. So to sit down and build a kintu, or to sit down and collect all of these little pieces that we put together into a physical package that we physically move to the earth and physically offer the earth in whichever way we want, that has such a profound psychological effect, because it gives the energy that you're creating with your thoughts and your emotions and your intentions that much more weight. Like, you're physically adding weight to your intentions in the physical realm. And there's so much power in that. And it also feels as though the creations of my mind during those ceremonies, they were that much quicker to manifest because we had done them not just in the emotional and energetic realms, but also in the physical realm. It was like we were marrying all of the realms together in a single ceremony, and also so much gratitude. And I was blown away by the power of it. And just as I was saying earlier, 6 months later, Cricket, we have the thing that we intended 6 months ago in its completeness. It's wild.
It is so wild. It is super cool. And just I mean, I know in previous lives, in previous incarnations, you've been a witch, and me too. I mean, and we still carry that frequency, that that ability to direct creation, that ability to direct the elements into forming. And so, yes, I think that what you're saying is that the despacho, or these types of ceremonies, these it's like spell work in a way. I mean, really, it's like using the elements and the relationship that you built with the elements, because that's a whole other aspect of the Pakokuna tradition, is like we are actually in relationship with the keepers of the South, the keepers of the West, the keepers of the North, the keepers of the East. And this is the tradition that took my understanding of my power in the elemental world, and my power like that I had as the pagan Wiccan that I used to be. It it like brought it to a whole new level of comprehension and flexibility and movability within the realm that is the material, and is also completely made up of the elements that I'm in relationship with. So
I'm so glad that you brought that up, because the pagan Wiccan sort of ideology, when I was learning about it years ago, like we're talking college days, I started to dabble in that. And I think that what I felt that I was missing at that time, and it also could have very well just been me not fully understanding what the tradition was about, but it was that like up leveling of getting into higher self-consciousness as you do these ceremonies. So again, I only dipped my toe in. There could very easily be a huge component of higher self-consciousness within those traditions that I just never got to. So please, if you're watching this or listening to this in retrospect, go ahead and throw a comment in there and tell me if I'm missing something. But that was also what I loved about what you're doing and what you facilitate, is that it has those really cool, tangible qualities of the paganism and the Wicca, the very, very natural, like we're bringing in the elements of the earth. And there's that component of total connection to the whole big thing. Like, to me, I think of a lot of like the Tao and Buddhism and things like that, where we start acknowledging those higher levels of connectedness. So it's like, yes, we are connected to the earth, and we are also connected to the cosmic fabric of the whole damn thing. And that's where I think so much of the power of what you do comes from.
Ah, my skin is tingling. I'm like, wow, yeah, yeah, man. Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are connected. So that is the gift of being human in body. We are like God consciousness in physical form. We are alive and real and valid on all levels, all the way up. And just the more in tune that we allow ourselves to become, being in tune with nature is one of the ways to access your fuller potential. The more we receive from our higher consciousness, and the more that we can be in tune with the higher consciousness as we speak our words of power within our own lives, within our own sacred space. And then when we bring the sacred space into community, when we merge our sacred space with others, where two or more are gathered, that is where the magic is. That is where the potential is. That's where we can shift mountains. And just, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful we're building this community. I'm so grateful that for all the women that are joining it, and essentially, like, what I see my part in it as is, as ceremonialist to this community, as host to this community, is that we're stirring the cauldron for humanity. We're stirring the cauldron for the sisterhood, because it's time for the sisters to wake up. We are all at our own levels, varying levels of wakefulness. And as we come together, we all get more awake. And then that just ripples out. And I am just, my heart is so big.
I love that. So I feel like this is the perfect segue for us to start talking about the Indigo Moon community, of which you are the ceremonialist of this community. And even as we were talking about Lammas, and I was like, wait a minute, Lammas is the full moon of the year, and Imbolg is the new moon of the year, isn't it? Like, it's the site. Is that how that works?
That's a good point. I hadn't really looked at it that way. And also for this conversation, I would say that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, because we're planting at Imbolg and then we're harvesting at Lammas. And I think that's a beautiful way to look at it. And Lammas, last night was full moon. And this full moon is in Aquarius, which is all about authenticity and about claiming your uniqueness. Like, essentially, I want to say, stop hiding yourself from yourself. It's all about bringing your uniqueness to the front and honoring it in whatever weird form that comes out. Like, let it be, because some people jive with it and some people won't. But also remember, we're here to validate our own validity. We're here to stand in our own validity. And this moon really supports us in that mission of doing whatever we need to do to celebrate our uniqueness. And then also, I just want to comment briefly that Lionsgate is on 8/8, so that is quickly approaching, and that is essentially an energetic cosmic portal that happens once a year when Sirius, Orion, and the Earth align. And this is a very sacred conjunction for the ancients, specifically ancient Egypt. And so that is essentially a portal that activates once a year. We called it the Lion's Gate, and it's a gateway that allows a higher frequency consciousness to seep into the collective. Higher frequency consciousness, activate cellular activation, activating dormant memories, activating dormant capabilities. So just be aware that this is coming, that this is the time. The moon is supporting you in expressing your uniqueness. And now this portal is also opening and shining through, so that will amplify anything that you're putting your intention into, and in taking you into higher consciousness. So say yes.
So basically, this is the time to get weird. Is that what you're saying? Let's get weird.
Yeah.
I love it. That's so amazing. So yeah, I mean, this is what I'm talking about when we're talking about the Indigo Moon community, which is our monthly membership with an Indigo women. Like, this is the juice that Cricket comes up with, and it's so awesome. I joke around that a huge part of me creating this Indigo Moon community is because I wanted ceremonies. Like, I wanted there to be ceremonies in my life. And so I'm like, I'm going to create a membership so everybody can join in on this. But really, I'm the one that feels so excited for having so much intention laid out. And these live ceremonies that Cricket facilitates, they're on every full moon and every new moon. So the time and the date that these happen, it's dependent on whatever's going on with the moon cycles. But I love this idea of all of us women getting together every 2 weeks and getting really crystal clear on, here's what all the energies are doing right now. Here's what is aligning cosmically, so that we can really utilize that and use it to inspire us to create, to release and let go, to align with abundance, whatever it is. I think that that's one of the coolest things, because as women and our hormonal cycles, we are already designed to be in alignment with the moon, whether we want to or not, in alignment with the moon. But to be so intentional about it and to be so mindful about it, that is so cool. That's honoring femininity in such a huge and deep way.
It sure is. That's a whole other aspect in conversation, yeah, that we could get into, is that as women, we are structured already to respect the ebb and flow of nature and of the natural cycles, and how special that relationship is, and how special it is to nurture that relationship. And so going back going back to holding ceremony within our community, that is one other level of participation that will happen within the group. I am very blessed and honored to be holding the space, making the space, and like, based on what's happening cosmically, drawing awareness to what's happening within our sacred community, so that those energies can be utilized, and so that we can be focused in the application of our energies, because our energy is sacred. It's so sacred. And so Natalie and I are making this 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 opportunity for sacred expansion within the container that we are, a communal act, so that we can witness one another, celebrate with one another, be witnessed by each other. Just, I feel like nothing but good can come.
My mute button was stuck for a second. I was about to say, it's just so juicy. It's so yum. We're sinking our teeth into this. And yeah, I'm super pumped. We're already attracting some really cool powerhouses into our circle. So if you are listening and you're interested in joining the Indigo Moon community, I will be linking the page so that you can join us in the description of this video, wherever you're watching it from or streaming it from. And yes, we have our new moon ceremony on August 16th. Yes.
16th, Wednesday at 1 p.m. I'd love to see you there.
Yes, it's so exciting. So what do you think is going to happen with that new moon ceremony? What can we expect?
So what I would love for those that are able to attend live, if you are able to attend live, please do. Also, it will be recorded, so you're more than welcome to watch it afterwards and tap into those frequencies. I'm going to be drawing the energy of anyone who's interested into the ceremony. So, so if you're interested, you'll be there too. But essentially, I'm gonna open a ceremonial space the way that I've been trained to do, calling the corners and tapping into the directions, again, that I've built relationship with, and into the energies that I've built relationship with. And then also we're calling your helpers and your teachers in. So this is very much a free flowing space that is going to be different each time. We're going to be going around the circle. Everybody will get a chance to speak whatever is like on their heart today, right now. And then also, because it'll be new moon, I'm going to be drawing in and allowing the women to reflect on what the energies are doing right now. And so we're, with intention, we will consciously be holding that in our prayer space, holding that theme in our prayer space, and then basing our personal prayers into our communal cauldron, which is stirring the cauldron for all the sisterhood. We're going to be speaking words of power into the space so that in connection to our higher selves, we can create for our whole community, for ourselves, for our families, for our, our desires, for our dreams, and also for in the interest of the highest good for humanity at this time. So
I'm so excited for that. I'm so excited for all of this. I feel like between everything that you have to offer and everything that Haley has to offer, who was on the last episode, this is going to be incredible. And what I love about this too is we're inviting in powerful women who already have spiritual connections of their own. So even though there is, of course, leadership, there's also so much space for sharing, and there's so much space for co-creating, and everybody can bring their own gifts into it and share whatever it is that they have to share with each other, because this is a container of sisterhood and of elevating collectively. And that it's going to take on a mind of its own. And I'm so excited to sit down and have a Lammas chat with you next year. And we can really check in on like what has come of this. I can't wait.
I'm excited too. Wow. I can't even think of where we're going to be in a year. That makes my heart happy. Like big prayers. And for right now, for yourself, for the collective, let's all just envision at this new moon and at this portal opening, like what the light that is in our future, like the blessing that our life is, and what it is becoming in the future, how truly aligned and how truly illuminated we are. And like, let's draw that into our frontal focus, because, oh, wow. That just blesses everybody.
Hell yeah. All right, my dear. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. This was really, really cool. I'm excited to set all my intentions today and all that good stuff. And please, if you're super interested in getting in on Cricket ceremonies, definitely join the Indigo Moon community. It's only going to get more awesome with time. And yeah, that's all I have. Thank you so much, Cricket. Appreciate you.
I appreciate you too. This was really fun. I'm super glad we met on such an auspicious day at such an auspicious time.
Yeah.
You're right. It's only going to get juicier with time. So much love, everybody. Mwah.
See you. Bye. See you next week, everyone.